You know, when I think about it, I completed all of the Resident Evil games where Leon was in. Or at least almost all. You see, there was one particular Resident Evil game that I actually was missing to fully get into the Leon story. And this game has two sides of the coin. The reason being is that multiplayer is dead and grind the achievements, and on the other side it has lots of campaign stories and POVs of other characters including Leon's. This is the game that has so much hate to the point where almost all of the people of RA community hates it, yet it is one of the most selling games ever made. What the fuck? And to be quite frank with you, I agree to a degree. The reason being is that gameplay and graphics are almost the weirdest, shittiest thing ever. But the story of it and the dialogue is really good. The multiplayer though, on the other hand, is something I don't want to mention during dinner with family or to myself in that matter, since it's just bullshit. But thank God once you get rid of it, you feel relaxed. And the reason why also my cortisol was spiked is that somehow the 20-hour footage that I have is taking 600 gigabytes on my drive while recording in 2K resolution. What the fuck, OBS as well. So today, let's begin with RA6. The game has 70 achievements, 4 different stories that are happening at the same time, and lots more to learn about the characters and their relationships. Now before we start, I also want to mention that I will show all of the achievements that you unlock with chapters at the end of the chapter. Not while doing it, since there's lots of combat trophies and trophies related when you reach a certain point in chapter. The first story we started was obviously Leon's, in which he killed the president, and a chick named Helena knew who Leon was because, well, they worked together with a secret service, and she just kept repeating that they needed to go to Cathedral. The problem is that they had to find a way out, but as they were finding it, they also found a guy that worked there. Problem was, he was searching for his daughter Liz, and they found her while in the elevator. Basically, his daughter killed him, so they had to kill her and also leave the parking lot. Now, since they were on campus, they also had to defend the hallway while Hannigan was hacking the door so they could get inside of a cop car, and later on just so Leon can drive for 20 seconds and flip the motherfucker. I still don't understand how can you take out the giant, most ginormous kinds of beasts, deadliest, whatever, but you can't drive for at least a minute straight. Anyways, they were retreating to sewers and becoming Ninja Turtles. Now this was the most junkiest part I've ever seen in a video game, since you had to react fast to a train and also press 2 buttons at the same time, but also the range of the train was sometimes so bullshit. I would just die by running while on the other side of the track was the train. So yeah, the game is from 2013, by the way. It wasn't that hard to make it. How did Witcher do that? But once on the surface, they met survivors and defended together a gun shop, since some old bloke wouldn't let them on the upper floor until they cleared it up. Plot twist: after they did all the dirty work, they got inside of a school bus and escaped to a graveyard. I guess the class decided to take a field trip. Now, since I played the game a little bit before I played with Ali, I got some things / achievements out of the way. The one was for completing the tutorial, one for purchasing one skill, and one for using stealth attacks to take down 5 enemies. Just so in chapter 2 things could go to shit, like the school bus exploding and proceeding on foot while zombies are on your ass 24/7, and meeting a new type of enemy. Yeah, don't ask me the name of this thing, I have no idea. But somehow we got the achievement for, I guess, killing the thing faster than we should have. And I don't know, the whole ammo thing in this game is like searching for a water bottle while in Sahara. But basically inside of a ruins there was a hidden test lab where Helena and her sister were interrogated by Simmons, the truest villain of the game, and the guy behind the C virus. That virus makes you go inside of a cocoon. If you're lucky, you can become quite a child. If you're not so much, then you just became a normal zombie and get blown up by Leon and his chicks. Of course, being down there wasn't the only thing. You see, Ada left a cassette tape for Leon to play, and on that tape was a process of some woman showing off her naked body disguised as Ada. Thank God, Ali on the other hand has never played any Resident Evil games, so she thought that this was real, and the Ada was just using Leon. But later on, Leon was a huge simp, so she started loving their relationship. So yeah, I actually fixed it for you guys. As we were proceeding even further below, Ellie saved my ass a couple of times, granting me an achievement for saving Parton 10 times. And also for the rest of the chapter, we could fight the naked Deborah, just so in the end the real Ada can come and help us. Speaking of help, they were trying to escape whatever that place was, and Ali got the achievement for getting herself back up without my help. So you go, queen. And we also got the achievement for killing 500 zombies. But in the end, when they reached the surface, the gang decided to go to China, where was the main source of G-Virus problem. And where was Simmons located in the meantime. He also had a dirt both on Helena and Leon, which was false, but who gives a shit when the zombie apocalypse is happening. In the process, while searching for Simmons, they actually found Sherry and her sidekick Jake, who I will not talk anything about yet. All you have to know is that 7 minutes was all he needed to defeat this Ustanak, who could have switched weapons on his arm just like RA3 Nemesis could. I guess they both watched Transformers, eh? But once taken out, Sherry was actually working for Simmons and gave Leon the location of where he was located. The thing though is, in all RA games, you technically need to go from point A to point B, but while on that path, you know, there comes C, D, E, F, and G. So Leon spotted Ada and tracked her down. Problem was that was the fake one all along, and him and Chris had a little chat about her. While the fake one knew that Leon was head over heels for her, she used him to escape. So Chris decided to track her down, while Leon decided to track down Simmons. And they fought a couple of times. By a couple of times, I mean like 5 times in a row probably. And I won't go over it since it's so idiotic, and just putting 5 different fights with the same guy literally makes 0 sense for a video. But in the last fight, we got the achievement for performing 10 coup de grace, whatever that means. And Ada actually having the proof for cleaning Leon's name, and of course 5 achievements for completing all 5 Leon chapters. Before we start with Ada's story, we also went to dog tag section and got the achievement for getting 10 of them, an achievement for customizing the dog tag. The Ada story is the shortest one of them all, but basically Ada got a message and lured into a submarine by Simmons, who wanted to capture Jake Miller, but was being framed. So she decided to go to Tall Oaks and see who is this clone and that Simmons mentions, but also how her identity was stolen. Turned out that Simmons used his own wife against her. Yes, he was so obsessed with Ada, which I do completely understand, his wife decided to turn into her to get more attention, but it kinda backfired on him later on. So she met with Leon, helped him out, and in China helped the Jake and Sherry out before particularly went on the aircraft, where we had to play Metal Gear Solid Stealth to get the achievement for not being detected, and also went to stop Carla, while also trying to stay alive since Chris thought, well, that the real Ada killed his soldiers. So yeah, he was pretty much pissed all along, and they chased the wrong gal. But the real Ada decided to go help Leon, and of course gave him the intel to clean his and Helena's identities. And also destroyed Carla's lab and accepted another request. I hope we will see her in Requiem. And that's not a question. It's actually a command. Yes, I'm threatening you, Resident Evil games. Put Ada in Requiem. How hard can it freaking be? Please, I'm dying over here. So 5 more achievements for completing the Ada story, and now it was time for Chris's, where I would say had the most funny story of them all. And since, well, Chris and Pierce were talking this whole game, I felt like they were in a toxic relationship, but loved each other till the very end. Pierce more than Chris though. But basically, Chris was getting drunk in the bar, and Pierce motivated Chris to stand his fucking ass up and actually fight with a meaning. And would you know it, China virus happened to be the best time of his life. The first part was just helping out the civilians and killing... Was it Yavos or Huevos? I honestly have no idea. But yeah, basically then we traveled back then, few months back, and they were in Russia. Also met Sherry and got backstabbed by fake Ada in the process. So that's why he was pissed all along. And the game throws us back to a present seeking revenge. So they found out that the fake Ada was on the aircraft and she faked her death. While Pierce took a injection, that will be important later on, they also went to our aircraft to stop the missile and also called a backup. We got the achievement for defeating 500 huevos and for not getting a scratch on the aircraft. So yeah, they also heard information about where Sherry and Jake were imprisoned, so decided to help them out. While also heading out, they were being chased by, well, whatever this is, and in the end, Pierce would just inject himself with the injection, and he mutated into this one large thing with basically Kamehameha in the other hand, and sacrificed himself for Chris. But hey, it was worth it because we got 5 achievements. Now, Jake and Sherry story was probably the one that I've been enjoying the most, to be honest, since in the Chris story he yelled non-stop about his man, and I honestly started thinking he was gay or something. But basically Jake was Wesker's son, who was a mercenary, and Sherry hired him. By the end of the mission he wanted 50 million buckaroonies while also heading out of Edonia. They were actually chased by this Ustanak, so they traveled to China in a funny way. And yes, that was by being captured by Ada's army and also imprisoned inside of asylum, which they escaped. By the way, Jake also has some kind of cure inside of his blood. I don't know what Wesky did, but I guess 7 minutes is all he needed to spare and to play with me. And well, I mean him. So yeah, later on they also got chased by a tank and luckily found a motorbike and went to the streets, but also got the achievement for countering enemy 3 times without getting hit. And yes, I've been trying to get this throughout the whole game, but it doesn't matter since we got it now. They were also chased by a chainsaw lady that later on saved Sherry and killed her. As well as then afterwards they met with Leon and Helena to stop the Ustanak, at least they thought so. Just so then later on they could get captured again and get saved by Chris and Pierce. My god, they actually visited every single character that this game has to offer. That's crazy. And every single time they got their ass saved. But also for them to finish the Ustanak for the final time. So yeah, they also had something going on, but still nothing, you know, typical love story for Resident Evil. So yeah, we got 5 achievements for each chapter, plus for finishing the game on standard difficulty, and another one for the amateur difficulty, and achievement for getting level 4 title. Now before we do a cleanup of the campaign, we have decided to go multiplayer and actually get rid of the achievements since they were grindy. And let me tell you son, the amount of time this shit took me was abomination of Resident Evil. Like, I beg now to never add multiplayer achievements nor the mode ever again, since each mode had an achievement that would take you lots and lots of hours to do. First was the Onslaught, and we got the achievements for chaining 30 kills in a row. Also defeating the enemy in 3 stages, earning 150 medals, and decided to grind a bit of campaign in the meantime since we got burnt out. So we got the achievement for knocking 10 enemies of a high place, win while in dying state, defeating 100 enemies that have count of Ralslid. What the fuck you spell that? Anyhow, we also got the achievement, the biggest one actually of them all for Onslaught, and that was to send 2,000 enemies. The amount of hours we wasted for that was insane. Also for defeating your opponent 10 times with the enemies you sent. And in the meantime, I also played Sherry to get 10 kills with a stun rod. Moving on to survival mode, we got the following achievements: winning 5 times in a row, win a fight using physical attacks only, return to a game as a human, win without any of your team members being killed. And honestly, this was a huge gamble. Luckily, one of the random guys joined. However, we were missing one more grinding achievement that I will come back to. Siege mode was interesting since we also got the achievement for defeating BSAA as a creature without dying once, winning 10 times, protecting the BSAA without any of them getting hurt. And finally, we got the ultimate achievements both for Siege and survival, and that was defeating 100 BSAA agents and also defeating 100 player controlled agents and 100 player controlled creatures. The last mode was Ustanak, and it was a bit repetitive but simple since we got the first achievement for defeating Ustanak without anyone on your team being captured, eliminating all the players as Ustanak in less than a minute, and Ustanak while one agent remaining, and also defeating Ustanak 20 times. And final one was Ustanak capture 50 humans. Now the campaign cleanup. Since I've saved shit ton of points, I managed to max out all the skills, defeating 20 enemies with Hydra using a quick shot, take down an enemy 50 meters away, shooting a helicopter with Magnum, using all the weapons in game and killing 10 enemies with them, collecting 3 figures, and completing the game on professional difficulty. It was pretty easy with infinitive ammo, but gained 2 achievements from that, and also for collecting all the serpent emblems. Honestly, if I were to be honest, I would never replay this game until a remake, especially since I got PTSD from the multiplayer, but overall the story is good. The gameplay, on the other hand, is shit. If they ever make a remake, I promise you this game is going to make numbers. It has good plot twists, however the graphics, the camera settings, combat sucks ass, especially since the stamina bar drains every few seconds. But yeah, finally I can take a water break. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, subscribe, stay safe, and peace.